So after a lot of debate and convincing, I decided to start this little mini-series on my TikTok all about deep diving into Mass Effect lore, and I'm a big bug person. Everybody who knows me knows I love my spiders, so let's start with talking about my favorites, the Rachni. So who are the Rachni? They're basically big space bugs, let's be honest. They are highly intelligent, and they actually work as a hive mind similar to a bee colony would. They even give different roles to different types of Rachni, such as a bee colony. So the homeworld of Suin is not the best place ever for them to evolve at. It's literally always hot or always frozen. There's no in between, so they learn to burrow underground and actually develop these really intricate, like river tunnels, similar to how you would think an ant colony is, or the tunnels under Disney World. So when the Protheans were, being Prothean, they actually tried using the Rachni as slaves, but remember, the Rachni are too smart for this, you can't play us, so they began rebelling, leading to the Protheans actually destroying almost 200 worlds just to try and get rid of them, and they thought they had succeeded. But plot twist, what happened, which is what usually happens when you have a bunch of bugs you're trying to get rid of, they went into hiding and then started repopulating. So what's happening on Suin? Beyond just, repopulating and developing their intelligence, their technology also developed. So not only did they start creating cities to help combat the extreme ice and extreme hot of Suin, but also they began developing interstellar spaceships. So basically, bugs on ice eventually became bugs in space. So the bugs in space went next door, found a bunch of element zero in a giant space crater, and decided to start studying it. But of course, while they were studying, who pops in to ruin everything every single time in any major event in Mass Effect series? Oh wait, it's the Salarians! So Salarians ended up in Rachni space on like an accident, I guess, and the Rachni caught the Salarians and actually started reverse engineering their FDL drives, which requires a lot of element zero. See where I'm going with it? So thanks to the new FTL technology, the Rachni showed up to the party that the rest of the universe was having this whole time. The rest of the universe said, sorry bitch, we didn't send you an invite, and that's how the Rachni Wars started. As most species usually do when you cannot communicate the same way as somebody else, everybody thought that the Rachni were hostile, because they just couldn't talk to the queen or tell her to, chill out. So there's two big problems with the Rachni Wars and why it lasted so freaking long. The Rachni are highly populated, so they be everywhere, alright? But also, the Rachni are built to withstand most weapons, especially bioweapons and nuclear. So you can't just hit them with spider spray and call it a day. So when the Krogan step in, keep in mind Krogan are basically small tempers and big guns, and they can survive just as much as the Rachni, and they can repopulate just as much as the Rachni. So they showed up, and the war started changing. There's no way to sugarcoat this. The Krogan basically went to Suin, went underground, bombed all the queens, and created sinkholes, essentially destroying the planet just as they had done to their own planet, Tuchanka. So the Rachni are considered done at this point. But, just to be sure, the Citadel actually puts a listening post near Suin to monitor activity. And it's kind of funny because nothing happens on Suin, so this location is actually considered like an exile or punishment for military personnel. So that's kind of interesting. Similar to a bee colony, the Rachni actually have several different subtypes, including the worker, the soldier, the warrior, and of course, the queen. So, let's talk about the queen. So I'm not going to deep dive into the events of the actual game, especially since there is a lot of player choice involved in dealing with the Rachni Queen, but essentially in Mass Effect 1, these people find a Rachni ship, find a bunch of eggs, think, oh, let's take that one. Actually, plot twist, it's one of the Rachni Queens. So they try to use her to create an army, which is big bad, and you as Shepard can either choose to release her or kill her. And then in Mass Effect 2, if you choose to release her in the first game, you meet an Asari who essentially gives you a message from the Rachni Queen who you saved, and is like, hey, thanks for doing that. We will probably most definitely fight the Reapers with you, just so you know. Okay, cool. The third game, she's actually captured, as well as a bunch of Krogan scouts, and again, you can choose to release or save her. And in this instance, if you release her, she will become a huge asset in the war against the Reapers. Not only does all of her workers show up at the Crucible, which is like the big doomsday project, and they're invaluable help because, hi, they're smarter than like everybody here, but also the Rachni Queen herself shows up to like knock some heads. She's like, payback, let's go. And of course, if you kill her or her copy in any of the games, a lot of people are like kind of on board with it because like, ew, bugs. But at the same time, if you really think about it, you're kind of like performing genocide. Like, are we ready to talk about that? No? Okay. So, who are the Rachni? They are survivalists, they are territorial, they're isolated, they're highly intelligent, and they are very sentient beings. If you think about it, they achieve spaceflight, cryo, they achieved like making weapons, making spaceships, they achieved FTL travel, like they literally unlocked the secrets of the universe just because they were smart. Each of the roles in the hierarchy are very, very highly respected. There's no little man, for example. Like, everything from the workers all the way to the queen herself are held with the utmost respect in their own community. So, the way that the queen communicates with the other workers is similar to synthesia. I think that's how you say it correctly. But it's, every sound is colors. Everything is music. Everything is song. That's how they communicate with each other. They say things like songs the color of oily shadow. Or, when they hear the Reapers trying to indoctrinate them, it's a sour yellow note. Like, it's so fascinating to me. Death is called the Great Silence, and it's seen in colors of gray and violet. And their homeworld, Suin, is actually called the Singing World between them. Their songs, their music comfort their babies, they nurture them. That's why it's so important not to be separated from the queen when you're first born. And that's why, in example, Peak 15 in the games and stuff, any mission in the games where you're fighting Rachni, those are Rachni that have been indoctrinated. They have been pulled away from the queen, their mother, right at birth. Now, this is the part that most interests me as a communication major, I guess. A lot of people thought that the Rachni as a species was telepathic, but in fact, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So at short range, they communicate through pheromones, and then at long range, they communicate through something called organic quantum entanglement. To put that in a less sciencey way, basically the thing that the Normandy can do, that they paid a lot of money to do, and it took forever to figure out, the Rachni can just kind of like do that, like organically. So TLDR, if you killed the queen in any of the Mass Effect series, you killed a source of vast worldwide knowledge, information, intelligent, music, art, family, like the matriarch bond. Like, come on. It's giving very, like, Avatar Way of Water vibes with the whales. I'm feeling that.